Happy Monday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be talking about week number 9 in the UFL, and we're going to give you our preview and predictions of week number 10 as we try to be the number one hub for all things UFL. I'm, of course, your host, David. I'm Point Huffman right there, my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And if you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. But yeah, happy Monday, TJ. And, thank you for all the men and women who have served our country as we celebrate Memorial Day here in the United States, who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of the freedoms that we have here in the United States. But yeah, hey, TJ, how are you, man?
I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I went to a brunch. I went to a brunch yesterday, and the place was kind of loud. Well, where we were sitting at was kind of loud, so my ears are still they ringing. Like they've been ringing since I left that place yesterday. So just gotta wait.
Did you have brunch at a rock concert?
No, it was just the type of place we was at. So
all right. Yeah, I never had brunch where it got so loud it affected my hearing.
Because it played music too. Like they was playing music.
Okay. For sure. But yeah, shout out to everybody, all the men and women who have served our country or will serve our country, including TJ's brother. Kudos to him for his service to our country. So,
appreciate it.
Let's get into it. Oh man! By the way, week number 9 of the UFL, we had some games that came down to the absolute wire. Very entertaining action throughout the weekend. Not so much Friday, as the my San Antonio Brahmas got beat down by Max Dugan and the Battlehawks. But this weekend was a very good weekend in UFL action. And it was a very good weekend in sports with the entertaining basketball throughout the weekend, at least maybe not so much Saturday, but yesterday for sure. And then the Indy 500 was very entertaining if you watched any of the Indy 500. Did you watch any of that yesterday, TJ?
No, my personal skin color won't let me do that. Nothing against those who look like me that do watch it. Just me personally. No, won't allow that to happen.
Let's talk about the UFL. Let's talk about week number 9. We start on Friday night, and the absolute the Brahmas got beat down by Max Dugan and the St. Louis Battlehawks, 39-13. This game was somewhat close at halftime. I mean, if you want to call 21-10 close at halftime, but it was all Battlehawks in the second half as they score 18-3 in that frame and go on to win this game 39-13. Just a really good day at the office for the St. Louis Battlehawks. 402 yards of total offense, including 233 yards of passing. And probably Max Dugan's best day at the office. I know Brandon Silvers also played for them as well, but he may have came in garbage time. But 12-17 for Dugan, 133 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Silvers, who, if you remember from XFL, played on those Roughneck teams, was pretty good there. 7 or 10, 100 yards and a touchdown. They had a bunch of rushing yards in this game, 169 yards, 5.3 yards per clip, including 2 rushing touchdowns. And Akeem Butler got into the end zone again for the second week in a row for the St. Louis Battlehawks. They won.
One of the easiest touchdowns he's ever scored.
Yeah, he was like the best player on the team is just stupid open. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The Battlehawks now have won 5 straight games in a row after they kind of had a rough patch there in the middle of the season where they lost 2 games in a row, maybe even 2 games in a row. But they have cruised basically since then. On the other side, Kellen Mond got the start. He wasn't bad, but he just wasn't all that good either. 14-26, 103 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. They did rush for 139 yards as a team. And Kevontae Kirkland, shout out to him, 5 for 44 for the San Antonio Brahmas. as basically every category, St. Louis basically had the advantage, except for time of possession. But this is a wire to wire victory for the Battlehawks.
I mean, I don't know why you picked. Well, no, you didn't pick them this week. You picked them last week.
Yeah.
Again, it's levels to this. Obviously, so to your intro, the product as a whole for the UFL, the last month or so, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like you got 4 games across the weekend. 75% of the games the last month have been phenomenal.
I mean, we had 2 games this weekend that came down to the final snap. Like, just awesome.
Like it's and when you're a new league, this is the progress that you're hoping for, that you're looking for, that you're that you want to entice football fans and players to like tune into. Like you want future prospects to be like, oh, if I don't make it to the NFL right away, I can go to the UFL and so on and so forth. Like I still think what will happen is I can see what's that company that bought them? The what was it? TKO, right?
KO? Yeah.
Yeah, I can 100% see TKO and the NFL forming some kind of minor league like farm system type setup. Like obviously you're gonna need more than 8 teams because there's what 32
Yeah. 32 in the
30
National Football
there's
League.
32 NFL teams. You only got 8 UFL teams. I can 100% see some kind of UFL, like some kind of minor league system set up to the point where they feed off of each other. But until then, keep doing what you're doing. Not to week 9. Like if you're St. Louis, like this is what we call a get right game. Like as tough as San Antonio's defense is,
I mean, not so much
event.
this season. But
I mean, well, has been like their track record
yeah,
has
their
like
track record for sure. Yeah.
their track record has like, hey, you San Antonio since UFL XFL days, like they are one of those teams. Like we may not win, but you damn it, you gonna know you played us. Like they are that type of like from when they was coached by Hines Ward on now. Like Hines Ward 100% infused that old Steelers mentality with this team. Like, hey, hard nose, hard hat, lunch bill, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of football. But it ain't like it's like this season. It ain't working. Hasn't worked. So if you're St. Louis again, Hakeem, I saw that touch. I'm like, bro, that's like he didn't even have to run full speed.
No, no, he didn't. He was very open that entire. He was yeah. You don't get much more open than that in any form of football.
So like if you're San Antonio, obviously like you're probably I mean you're already looking, you're looking into the off season. You know like this is San Antonio is like one of those teams like you know what you have to do. Fucking do it. Like stop playing around. Like if a certain type of philosophy is not working or is outdated, stop being afraid to change the philosophy. Like it's okay. Like I don't care what level of sport you play, from the professional to the semi-pro to the amateur to just recreational. You want to win. Like David talks about how he plays basketball all the time. There's no greater feeling, even if it's just rec league ball. There's no greater feeling than not leaving the court because you lost.
Yeah,
You there's no greater like you play 5 games, you win all 5. You don't leave the court till you lose. Like that's how that's like. There's no greater feeling than running the court. If you're San Antonio, you have to look at this shit like, all right, what do we need? Obviously, we better quarterback play. We've been begging for better quarterback play from San Antonio past 2 seasons. Like
Yeah,
I don't care. I
even
don't.
when they made the finals last year, their
They
offense
didn't
was still pretty
like
inept.
even like yeah even when they made the UFL championship a year ago. Like we like they don't stand a fucking chance because they don't have the quarterback to match. So it's like I 100% believe that if they get that quarterback, whoever it is, they'll be they'll go a long way.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree with you. And,
go ahead, no, go ahead,
and
go
on
ahead.
the St. Louis, I mean, and on the St. Louis side, I mean, this has just been like the last 5 games that they've beaten some good teams in those 5. I mean, they beat Michigan, they beat the Arlington Renegades before they kind of fell apart towards the end. They beat Birmingham. I mean, these are teams that they could potentially see in the finals. They got DC next week. We'll talk about that game here in a few minutes. But like this has been a good run for the St. Louis Battlehawks, and it just goes to good coaching there with Anthony Becht. So I mean, you're finding your stride at the right time if you're St. Louis, and this is perfect for like going into a playoff situation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, I actually like offensively, St. Louis. It's kind of I'm kind of shocked that they haven't um won anything in the league yet. Like considering like the teams that they've had, like when you had AJ McCarron, you without a doubt had the best quarterback. Like no, like Jordan Tiamu aside, like St. Louis had the better quarterback. They had the better receivers. And Hakeem Butler, their run game is phenomenal. Anthony Beck, I said a year ago, Anthony Beck's probably going to be getting some calls from the NFL soon. The way he coaches, and you have nothing to show for it. Like to me, that's kind of disappointing if you ask me. Like
yeah.
that's yeah, like I kind of need St. Louis to get over that hump.
Moving into the Saturday night or Saturday afternoon action, we got the Arlington Renegades put the absolute whooping on the Memphis Showboats, 30-12. This game was fairly competitive up until the final frame, where the Renegades scored 12 points unanswered, as Luis Perez was just gunning it in this game. He scored 3 touchdowns in that quarter. No, 2 touchdowns, sorry, in that quarter. 2 touchdowns, one for 24 yards. But Luis Perez had a pretty good day at the office. He also had a 41-yard touchdown in the third quarter. In the right before basically the fourth quarter started, but this was an absolute just beat down by Arlington. They basically doubled up on Memphis on offense. They doubled up Memphis on time possession. No, I guess time pretty close. 2 turnovers for Memphis. Just not a good day at the office for the
Not a good
Memphis
day at the
Showboats.
office, no.
No, Dresser Wynn did play in this game, but he didn't play all that well. He did throw a pick, and EJ Perry, when he came in, he didn't play any better.
Better.
Yes, and Jalen Jackson had the lone touchdown for the Memphis Showboats in this game. But yeah, Luis Perez, I mean, 20 of 30, 206 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their punter, I think, came in and threw a touchdown in this game, or was it? I don't know. Holton, I'm not sure who that is. And they ran for 134 yards at 5.4 yards per clip. And it was just a good day at the office for the Arlington Renegades. And this felt like those frustrations of coming up short those couple weeks in a row that basically took you out of playoff contention. You kind of took all of your frustration out on this poor Memphis Showboats team.
Hey, it'd be like that. It's like, God damn it! Like if we played like this a week ago, we'd still be in it.
Yeah,
But we're not.
well, 2 weeks ago. I mean,
Two
they were
weeks
coming
ago.
off of like a 4-game losing streak, where they lost basically 3 games of those for sure were like nail biters, and yeah, and they have nothing to show for any of those. They just took L's at like on opportune times.
Mm-hmm. So like, all right, if you're Memphis, again, same thing with San Antonio, minus the good defense part. Um, Easily the worst team in the entire league. Because and what I mean by that is like Memphis does nothing well. Like San Antonio, we can at least say, damn it, their defense is going. At least their defense can make it tough for you. They didn't do it this week because again, St. Louis is just that damn good. But Memphis does nothing well, and they literally have some of the same problems. They don't have a quarterback. They have inconsistent quarterback play. Like Dressel Wynn was a story like 3 weeks ago because he came out the gate, and I say it all the time. I've been saying this since our days on the Triangle. backup quarterbacks or first time starters, when they have a good game, why do they have a good game? They ain't got no tape on them. They don't know nothing about them. They had nothing on them. So he goes out there in his first game, he lights it up. They win. I think they won. No, they didn't win that game. But it was competitive for them.
They well, at least their second win. I think they because they went up against the Brahmas
Oh
and
yeah.
they won. And they
So
won
oh yeah,
that game
because like
against
it,
the
it was
Brahmas.
like it was one game like they had back to back games like nail biters against Houston. Yeah, against the Roughnecks. I think they end up losing both of those, and they beat the Brahmas. And so it's like, and Dresser Wynn played in both of those games. Like he was a starting quarterback in both of those games, and it's like, oh, we legit came on here. It's like, who the hell is Dresser Wynn? Where did he go to college? I know nothing of him. Like that's how that shit be, bro. Like so, like I remember it was Bears Lions like a few like 5 years ago now. That sounds so long ago, maybe six now. And this is before the Lions became who they are, and their quarterback was just the backup to the backup. First play of the game, he hits Kenny Galladay for 70 yards down the field, and we're like, who the hell is this? And it's like, oh, and Dave was like, why are they struggling? I'm like, they don't have tape on this dude. They've never seen him a day in there. Like the Bears defense never seen this dude. The Bears still won the game. That's not the point. If you're Memphis, at this point, hey, throw the kitchen sink at motherfuckers. When you come out next week, I want to see Wildcat. I want to see trick plays.
I mean, or you might as well have a little bit of fun, right?
Right? Hey, I want to see Wildcat. I want to see trick plays. I want to see reverses on the kickoff. Can you even do that? No, you can't do
No,
that.
I mean, you technically could because you have two return guys back there, so you could. We haven't seen a lot of that, but you could
No,
essentially do.
because like no, I think because of how the kickoff is formatted, because like you know how like reverses on kickoffs used to be, right? Like
Yeah,
the end guy you used to run down and then he catches it. So like the way kickoffs are set up now, like to the point where nobody can move until the ball is caught. Reverses on kickoffs are virtually impossible.
yeah, because you'd have to like build up so much momentum from like a stop, and yeah, it would be difficult.
It it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. But like, yeah, if you're again, I want to see halfback passes. I want to see wide receiver passes. I want to see double passes. I want to see it all.
And for the Arlington Renegades on the other side, I mean, this is like before this victory in week 5, they lost 33-37 to the DC Defenders. The week after that, they got beat 6-12 by the St. Louis Battlehawks. The week after that, against Michigan, they lost 24-25. The week after that, they go to DC and they lose 30-33. Like they're a play here and there away from being like legitimate, like in playoff contention. If you win 3 of those games that you lost by one possession, you're probably a borderline playoff team. Like, which is just kind of sucks because there's talent there. And Luis Perez, Mr. Spring Football,
Mr.
like,
Spring Football.
like the dude is talent. Like that dude is talented. Like he can really sling it. Like he's good. Like he's real good. Like
He's really good. Like he's really good at what he does, and we see this all the time with basketball players because we see a dude who's a high school legend or a college legend, and they get to the league and they don't pan out for whatever reason. But then they go to other leagues. They go to Europe. They go to Mexico. They go to Puerto Rico. They go to China. They go all over the world and they kill it. Right? Like Jabari Parker is a perfect example. High school legend in Chicago, won 4 straight state championships. That don't happen in the state of Illinois. If you know Illinois basketball history, that was not a thing until his crew came along. He goes to Duke. He gets like it was no known secret. Like, he was one and done. He wasn't staying at Duke longer than 6 months. They lost in the first round of the tournament. It is what it is. He was going pro. He was a top 2 prospect, so we knew he was coming out. Gets drafted. Injuries ruined it. His NBA because him and Giannis are supposed to be like special.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, like you look up, he goes to Real Madrid and is fucking balling. He wins there. He wins a championship over there. All that other good shit. So like Luis Perez is that dude. Like I don't think Luis Perez has any time in the NFL. If it does, it's nothing more than a practice squad stint. And he goes to spring. He's played in every spring football league that you can think of, and he's won. He's won a lot.
Yeah,
he's that dude. Like it's like
yeah. So he never had more than just a practice squad tenure in the National Football League. So he's been basically just in.
And how old is he? Can you look at Can you look
he's
that up?
30. He's 30.
He's 30 years old. Like is and spring and he's a football legend in his own right.
Yep.
Like go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, there's a. Did I skip a game? I did skip a game.
No, you you skipped the game, but you skipped the game, but it's cool. I get the blowouts out the way. It's cool.
Yeah. Let's get them out of the way. Let's move on into the Michigan Panthers and the Birmingham Stallions, a matchup we will see again in 2 weeks in the USFL final. This one goes to Birmingham as Michigan is still waiting for Bryce Perkins to return from his ankle injury. Danny Etling did play well in this game, but just could not get that final touchdown to basically win this game. Birmingham goes on to win 26-22. This is a very evenly matched game. Michigan 335 yards total offense, 362 for Birmingham. One turnover for Birmingham, 31 minutes of total yards of offense, time possession for Birmingham. Jamar Smith got to start again for the Birmingham Stallions. Pretty good day at the office for him. 22 of 31, 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. They did not run the football very effectively in this game, but Larry Roundtree, former Los Angeles Charger, did have 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. And Deion Kane, who is a very, very good wide receiver in this league, had 2 receiving touchdowns in this game. On the other side, Danny Etling, who I did not realize was drafted by the New England Patriots and won a ring with them in 2017 or 2019, whatever year they won their most recent title. He had 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. Toa Tua, 1247 and a touchdown. Sawyer the Mariner won 115 yards for him and a touchdown. Oaks had also a touchdown, but this is a game that felt like playoff implications and a matchup that we will see again in 2 weeks.
I think this was I ain't gonna say too little too late, because it was pretty back and forth. It was pretty back and forth for the most part, but it was it was, how can I put it? It was a back and forth game. Like, it was, you needed a touchdown, you didn't get it.
Yeah, they were at the 5-yard line and they needed to get a touchdown in order to really seal this game, and they just better yet, you needed a stop and you didn't get it because you were up 22-20. Like, if you stop them, if you stop Birmingham, you win. That's game. Because it's 22-20. Well, maybe not, because they scored that. They scored that touchdown. You're 100% right.
They scored that touchdown with 2
Michigan's
minutes and 30
defense
seconds.
Could have gotten a stop on that final drive by Birmingham, you win the game. But that's not the way it went down. They did get the touchdown for Deion Kane. The man's touchdown there for 19 yards. Where he broke some tackles and got into the end zone. And then they drive the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line. And they had 3 shots at it, and they were unable to convert any of those 3 and go on to lose at the horn pretty much.
Yeah, that's Danny Etling. Like Jamar Smith, so again, it just goes to show you, even with Arlington, again, bad opponent, but Jamar Smith, McClendon, he balled out this weekend. We'll get to that game.
Yeah.
Who'd you say who's the starting quarterback for St. Louis this week? Was it Dugan or was it
Max Dugan? Yeah. So
look at what quality quarterback play got you. Like just look at it.
Well, I mean, Jamar Smith has been the backup for the has been the backup for the Birmingham Stallions for the last 3 seasons, and now he's getting the opportunity to start with Adrian Martinez being in the National Football League.
and
He's a
Matt
three-time
Corral
champion.
being,
Not good.
yeah, Matt Corral
Hurt.
being hurt and like, but so if you're Birmingham, again, I think Styles. I ain't gonna say Styles make fights because that's true, but it made no sense if you're Birmingham because like if you have a guy like Adrian Martinez who's your starting quarterback and he's a mobile quarterback, and you have Matt Corral and then you have Jamar Smith. Matt Corral is probably not as mobile as the latter two. He's probably a better thrower,
Yeah. Well, you remember
right?
last season, Birmingham played Matt Corral, Adrian Martinez kind of together. Like they would play those two guys like interchangeably a little bit on occasion.
And like I said, like I ain't gonna say I hate because hate's a strong word, but to me that becomes predictable after a while because if it's Adrian Martinez, you know, like, hey, it's some kind of RPO play. If it's Matt Corral, he's probably gonna pass it, or it's a handoff to they running back who's also really fucking good. Uh, get Michigan again. All you like, so you got like this was a gut check. This was a gut check game, and you came up short, man. Like you were up 22-20 because you and not just that, bro. Like this wasn't no quick hitter. Like you scored 22, you scored 22-20. You kick it off, and then they just 2 minutes later score. No, you scored with 7:47 left.
Yeah.
They took 5 minutes off the clock.
I will say though, in the UFL, that's not as much time as it would be in like the National Football League because of the way the clock is set up in that league.
Yeah,
Because
because
the clock runs and completions and all that other stuff. So like 5 minutes, but it's not like an NFL 5 minutes.
I mean,
If that makes any sense at all.
like I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like in both time is relative. Like it may not seem like it, but like that's still a lot of time, bro. Like that's a lot to like. The concept is still the same because like if it's 3rd and 5, hey, we get one stop and we back on the field. First down. Damn. Now you gotta do it all over. Like it's tiring.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, like the process is like if you're that defense, or if you're that, because either way you look at it, David, the offense is still sitting. Like we see it all the time. Like quarterbacks, they start warming up. All right, it's 3rd down. Let me get a couple warm up tosses in. So before I get back out there, oh damn, defense gave up a 1st down. Oh well, can't. I guess. Damn. 3rd down. All right, let's do this. Oh god damn it, they gave up another 1st down. Or if it's 3rd and 5 and you make it 4th and 1 and they go for it. All right, 4th and 1, stop them right here. Damn, they got it. And then they gave up a touchdown. So it's like, all right, now again, 2.5 minutes. It's a lot of time to go down and get that touchdown back. It's a lot of time.
Yep.
It's a lot of time. You just didn't get it. It is what it fucking happens. It sucks, but it happens.
100%. But yeah, I also think that like the Panthers, they held out Bryce Perkins out of this game because they already have, the playoff spot.
Yeah, they're clinched. They're clinched. They're good.
Yeah, so like we'll see this matchup again in 2 weeks, and I'll wonder because Bryce Perkins has been one of the better quarterbacks in the UFL this season, and is in conversation for the MVP. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he should be for sure in the conversation. But yeah, this was a very entertaining football game. Moving on to another extremely entertaining football game, the Saturday afternoon nightcap, which I didn't get to see the very beginning because of the Indy 500, but the DC Defenders and the Houston Roughnecks battled, and it was a good game. 21-24 in favor of the Houston Roughnecks. I actually thought that this game was going to be an absolute blowout. Like, I thought DC, because they were moving the football at will with Jordan Tiamo in the first half. And then there was like that fumble right before halftime. Was it Seth Williams? I think it was, or yeah, I think it was Seth Williams was trying to fight for extra yardage. He ends up fumbling the football. Oh, yeah, unnecessarily. He already picked up the first down. He fumbles the football, giving the Roughnecks another possession. They score a touchdown, I think, off of that mistake. But if DC scores there, this puts it in a game where they could not come back from. Also, what was his Moody? I think his name was. Moody intercepted the ball in the 2-point conversion and made a house call on it on a 2-point try for 95 yards. Pretty sure that's the first time in the UFL that has happened. But if you just look at the numbers here, 456 yards of total offense for DC, 331 total yards of offense for the Houston Roughnecks. DC dominated time possession by over 5 minutes, 33-24. But those 2 turnovers, I mean, they had another turnover later in this game, similar scenario where guys fighting for extra yardage, puts the ball on the ground unnecessarily. And then it kind of felt like DC kind of punted this game in the second half because Jordan Tiamo didn't come back out in the second half. They put in their backup, and he played the majority of the rest of the game. He played pretty good though. Mike Diolilo, who I have no idea. I have no information about him whatsoever. But they combined for 2 touchdowns, him and Jordan Tiamu. Deion Jackson, 10 for 57 and a touchdown. And then Cornell Powell, 8 for 104 and 2 touchdowns. As it was just a good day at the office for the offense for the DC defenders. Not so much for their defense. Their defense didn't play particularly well in this game. Broken tackles left and right. Just a lack of effort, it kind of felt like, from the DC defenders' defense. Jalen McClendon was awesome in this game. Although he did open the door for DC to have any opportunity to come back and win this game, as he basically fumbled the ball at the goal line, and it got picked up in the end zone by the DC defenders. And it basically just fell in the guy's lap. And then they drive the length of the field. They score the potential game-tying touchdown. They're unable to convert the 3-point play on a really not a great design, Chris Rowland. Although, if he had gone outside instead of kind of cutting that back inside, I think he scores. I think he would have scored. I think if he cut that all the way outside, I think he gets in. But he cut it back and tried to.
Talking about on the 3-point conversion.
Yeah, I think he gets in if he goes outside. And then they try to get the 4th and 12, because that's the great thing about the UFL. Like, even though they didn't convert it, it was still not technically over. It would have needed an absolute miracle. But they could have gotten it back into the get the game made it interesting.
Feels like what's funny about that is, and I think we're gonna see more teams start this now. Like, if it's 4th and 12, and I don't think this has ever been thought about. What if you do what they did and take a deep shot, catch it, and score?
Yeah, I mean that's what they were doing. I mean, that's the only thing you can do.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't really. Most teams, like, because I don't think we've seen the 4th and 12 with it being like that little amount of time. Like, we usually see a 4th and 12 with like a minute or minute and some change left. Teams they usually just go for like they just try to convert it. Like, no, I think more teams are just gonna start trying to fuck the conversion, just bomb this bitch down the field.
I mean, the worst thing that happens is, even if you don't catch it, I mean, you get a PI call, and then you get to continue your possession, like you get an untimed down. I agree with you. The Roughnecks, 19-107 for rushing, 1 touchdown there, and then Kiki Kism had 2 receiving touchdowns. Justin Hall had an absolute awesome day at the office, 10 for 126. As this game, another one comes down to the very last snap, but DC comes up a little bit short. It also felt like they knew they were going to have to play the St. Louis Battlehawks this upcoming week, and the winner of that matchup would get home field advantage in that first playoff game in 2 weeks. So it kind of felt like they were just like, let's play for next week, regardless of the outcome of this one.
That's why, because I was driving home when you had said Jordan Tiamu got benched. I'm like, oh, he must have been really bad. And I'm like, no, now looking at it, it's like, oh no, they just we're clinched. We ain't no need of us. They don't need us risking unnecessary.
And my heart almost dropped because Abram Smith got banged up in this game. He's coming off that ACL tear, and he was like down, like it looked brutal. And he came back in the game luckily and was able to finish the game. He caught a pass later in the game that was really important in that final drive. But yeah, I was like, man, I hope he doesn't get hurt because we talked about like that season after you get injured, you spend a lot of time rehabbing. This was going to be his off season to kind of work on his craft. So I just didn't want him to get hurt again.
I think, and this is across sports leagues in general. Obviously, depending on the sport you play, professional sports you play. Well, no, sports. I was right the first time. Sports in general. If you're so he torn ACL, right? So torn ACLs, torn Achilles, MCLs, PCLs, all that shit. I wholeheartedly think you, as an athlete, I wholeheartedly think once you tear the you tear the injury, like you tear the ligament, you're already out that season, right? I think teams should just go ahead and say you're not playing the next year either. Like, because you're spending that first year rehabbing, then you have to spend a whole nother season doing your normal workout routine. I think you should just take that 2-year stretch and just get completely right. Don't worry about coming back. Don't worry about coming back. Don't worry about none of that. Your spot will be here when you get back. Your spot will be here when you get back. Like that's I think teams should give players that kind of courtesy. It's wishful thinking because teams aren't gonna do that. Like they just aren't gonna do that. They aren't teams aren't that generous. They're generous, but they aren't that generous. So because it hurts me seeing Abram Smith, who was getting 70, 80-yard games,
yeah,
and he's reduced to 5 carries for 14 yards and stuff like that. So I think they should have take this season, get completely back to the Abram Smith that was raising hell a couple seasons ago. Like that.
I totally agree with you on that, but it's just not realistic. But yeah,
I mean, it could be.
I can't wait to see what he looks like next season when he comes back from that injury. Because
that's what I'm saying. So like, imagine if he just didn't play this year and he just he just focused on his training. By this point, you're not rehabbing anymore. You're 100% training, and then we see him, like you say, next year. Oh my. Like if he took this year off and got really got right, I think next year we're talking like MVP Abram Smith possibly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way. Unfortunately, so they're not gonna the sports just doesn't work that way. But at the end of the day, this was a very good showcase. Like especially because of where this game fell. So like if you're somebody who was watching TV and you're just watching the Indy 500, right? You're watching the Indy 500, and then it just segues directly into this football game. This was an excellent showcase for what is potentially possible with the UFL because this was a very entertaining football game from beginning to end. Like it was just a kind of a back and well, I guess the Roughnecks did get up had a big lead at one point. They were up 15, but that's with 1 quarter left. But that's the magic of the UFL, right? Like that game was not over. Like they were up 15 points. It was 24-9. DC's kind of struggling to move the football. They get the touchdown. They get the 6 points. They're like, okay, well. They're only down 9 at that point. And then the Roughnecks are driving the football. And the only thing you can't do in that situation, like even kneeling the ball, like it was 3rd and 9 or whatever. And he picked up the first down. He was basically the game was over. And then he fumbled the football at the goal line on that play. And it gets picked up by the DC defenders. This was a fantastic football game. It was a fantastic showcase what's possible in the UFL, especially with it coming right off the back of the Indy 500. So if you were watching the Indy 500 and then you watch this football game, this is what UFL is all about. It really is this entertaining at times.
And it also kind of shows you why Houston is in the boat they're in. Like you're 4-5, and it's like I see why y'all lost some of the games y'all have, because it's like, bruh, y'all do like why? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, the only thing you can't do there is fumble the football. And that's exactly what happened. But yeah, shout out to week number 9. A very entertaining weekend of football in the UFL. Very entertaining weekend of sports in general across all sports and brands. To week number 10, which is crazy to say. This is the final week of the regular season of the UFL. Let's start first with the game of the week. Prime Sports World Game of the Week, as the Battlehawks and the DC Defenders battle in DC. I am fairly certain that the winner of this particular matchup will have home field advantage in that playoff game in 2 weeks. TJ, Battlehawks, Defenders, Jordan Tiamu, Max Dugan. I guess Jacob Sailors is also in conversation for the MVP, as we go two MVP frontrunners go head to head in this battle in DC.
You got the league leader in rushing.
Yeah, and Jacob Sailor.
And you have the leader in passing, and Tiamu. Like Tiamu has 2155, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
He's been quietly awesome this season. Like as much as we talk about his he's been really good.
That's what it is, bro. But it's the 15 for 40s, the 50%, 53% completion. But like you're overlooking that, because at the end of the day, 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions ain't nothing to scoff over. And Jacob Sailors, this game literally should cross over 500 yards rushing like that.
He only needs 1 yard. So.
Literally, and he leads the league in rushing. He's tied. No, he does.
Yeah, he's tied with Toa Tua.
No, he's behind. He's one behind him.
Oh, he's one behind him. Yeah. He's tied with Bryce Perkins and Max Dugan. All have 5 rushing touchdowns.
And so what is it? I was looking at it. He does lead them in rushing. He averages 55 a game. 55. Yeah, he averages 55 rushing yards a game. And by this point, everybody should be seated, right? Like wins, losses don't matter. You are you're locked in. You are what you are.
No. I'm pretty sure that whoever wins this game will have home field in that playoff game next week. So both these teams need this game.
They need this. Okay, because I was kind of
because if I guess I don't really know what the tiebreakers are, but that would make them tied in conference. That would make them tied in their head-to-head matchups.
Okay.
I don't know what the tiebreakers are beyond that. I know DC has a stronger strength of schedule. What is SOV? I don't even know what that even stands for. But they will have the same record if DC is able to beat the Battlehawks, and then DC will get home field in that playoff game in 2 weeks, and so they will avoid having to go to St. Louis, which I think is a big incentive for DC, not having to play in St. Louis in a playoff game, because I imagine those fans are going to show out a little bit.
Yeah, all right. So I was kind of saying if both teams are locked in where they are, there's win-loss doesn't change it. I was fully expecting a battle of the backups type ordeal, because it's the perfect setting for it. But if both teams need it,
both teams need this game. I'm fairly certain.
Give me the Battlehawks.
I'm going Defenders. I'm taking the DC Defenders. I know this. I think they're at home. They'll have the beer snake. That hasn't been a big factor this season as it was that first year of the XFL. But I think Jordan Tiamu is going to put out a masterclass, and I think he's going to put his fingerprints on the MVP. I think this is his game, and I think he's going to.
I will say that. That's what I was going to say. I do say whoever wins this one probably wins
the MVP.
MVP.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm going to take the DC Defenders. We'll see what ends up happening, how it ends up shaking out. This is Friday night. This game is on Fox, your local Fox network. So if you want to go ahead and watch it, should be a good game there on Fox between two of the teams that will play again next week, potentially in the same building if the DC Defenders do get that victory. From there, we got Saturday afternoon football. We got the Houston Roughnecks going into Michigan and taking on the Panthers. And this is a scenario where the Panthers still need to win this game in order to shore up some sort of claim on home field advantage in that playoff game. And the Roughnecks are just playing for pride right now, but they have been very competitive over the last month or so, basically ever since they made the switch to Jalen McClendon at the quarterback position for the Houston Roughnecks. TJ.
Michigan. I think Michigan goes back to
Bryce. I think Bryce Perkins also gets back in this game. He needs a little bit of momentum if he wants to have any chance of winning the MVP after missing 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I think they go back to Bryce Perkins. I think now Danny Etling had a hell of a showing to show why he should,
I'll be a backup somewhere in the NFL.
I mean, like all that talk I said earlier, I think the NFL would literally have to take what these guys do seriously. I don't think they do that right now, respectfully. But because they had they had Danny Etling first. Like Danny Etling was in the NFL before he was here. So
he was drafted a 7th round pick in the NFL.
Right. So yeah, I think they go I think they go back to Bryce Perkins. That should be very entertaining. Bryce Perkins going head to head against Jalen McClendon. I think Houston going forward. I think Jalen McClendon. It should be the Jalen McClendon show.
Yeah,
going into next season.
Yep.
I'm already looking forward to the next season. I would 100%. If he's the starting quarterback for Houston, they're already my sleeper team to win it all, just because of him. But I'm going with Michigan.
I'm taking the Panthers too, and they kind of they need this game more than the Roughnecks do. You can make the argument the Roughnecks don't win that game this most recent weekend if Jordan Tiama plays the entire game.
Yeah,
they don't win that game.
Better team. They possibly have 2 MVP candidates because Tua could also throw his name in there. So you got Bryce Perkins, you got Tua. Yeah, I just think it's going to be too much for Houston to overcome.
Then we have Sunday afternoon. By the way, that game, if you want to watch that Saturday at 3:00, that's on your local ESPN. If you have cable, you can go ahead and watch that. And then on Sunday afternoon, starting at noon at the Horn. Sorry. Yeah. We have the Battle of Texas between the Arlington Renegades at 4-5, going into San Antonio and taking on the Brahmas in the Alamo Dome. This game is on your local ABC affiliate. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, that's going to be on 7 or 21. If you're on here in the Fort Wayne area, I'm taking the Renegades. I've not seen anything out of my Brahmas to give me any confidence that they can win another game this season. Give me the Renegades, TJ.
I'm going to need you to find a new favorite team.
It's just because I really like saying Brahmas. It's just so much fun.
It's not a good enough reason.
I know it's not.
Birmingham has nothing to play for, right? Like they're set.
Moving on. Yeah, okay. Moving on to the next game. We got the Stallions who beat the Michigan Panthers last week. I still think that I think the Stallions have the tiebreaker over those two teams. So both of them need to win. But if Michigan were to somehow lose to the Roughnecks on Saturday afternoon, Birmingham would have that number 1 seed locked up, and they would have no reason to play any of their starters. But if Michigan was to win, they would still have to win this game in order to get that home field advantage in that first playoff game, and have that raucous Birmingham crowd behind them.
Okay, so
this is actually a matchup. So Showboats actually beat the Stallions for
did.
their first win of the season a couple weeks ago. So this is a game the Stallions still need to win potentially, depending on what happens with the Panthers game the day before.
That's what I was
And
saying. So they are going to be watching that game very, very
and
closely.
the Showboats obviously just want to end the season with some pride at 2-7. This game is on your Fox affiliated, so whether that be 55 or 32 in Chicago. I'm taking the Stallions. I don't really care.
Either way, right?
If the Panthers, even if they were to lose to the Roughnecks on Saturday, the Showboats haven't shown me anything to make me think that they can really beat the Stallions team. Even if no matter who the quarterback is, no matter if it's the battle of the backups, I have no faith in the Showboats whatsoever. So give me the Stallions.
Either way, it's going to be Birmingham. This is just a matter of how bad will it get. But at the same time, this is what I'm talking about. If you're at Memphis, and if you're San Antonio, like, hey, kitchen sink, double passes, wide receiver passes, halfback passes. I want to see unique blitzes. I want to see a defensive front where you literally have one defensive lineman rushing, and then all the other 10 drop back into coverage. I want to see some weird shit like that. Like that's what I want to see. Like, because like you said, you have nothing to play for. You might as well go out. You might as well go out having fun. Like so serious. But if you're Birmingham, it kind of sucks because you're dictating possibly dictating what you do off of what happens with Michigan and Houston. So if Michigan wins, or if Michigan wins, like, you're probably playing your starters.
I mean, you can make the argument they probably should do that anyways. I mean, you want to have some momentum going into a playoff game. I mean, this has been a Stallions team that hasn't been as dominant
as we're used to.
Give me a parlay for these 4 games. A parlay, huh? Let's see.
That sounds like Izzy. Is that Izzy?
No. Terranito, Facebook. Give me a parlay.
That's my cousin.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Parlay. I'm going Defenders, Panthers, Renegades, Stallions is a parlay. All 4 of those teams win. If you want players, Jordan Tiamo, anytime touchdown on the Roughnecks Panthers. Bryce Perkins, anytime touchdown. Renegades, Brahmas.
I do Kalen Balaj anytime touchdown.
Okay. I don't think Kalen Balaj has played
in
5 minutes.
I would take so on the Renegades, I would take Luis Perez. I want to take the under on this passing. I would take the under. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. I don't know if that's if those numbers haven't set yet, but I'll take Luis Perez.
It probably will be by now. Like,
and then the Stallions. Give me a Deion Kane. Anytime touchdown for the Stallions and Deion Kane.
I would so Stallions, Showboats, whoever plays for Birmingham, put them on. Like, I'm so serious. Like, you could put the whole offense if you want to. I'm going St. Louis over DC. I'm taking. I think Hakeem Butler anytime touchdown. Jacob Sailors, anytime touchdown. Bryce Perkins anytime touchdown. Jalen McClendon for Houston anytime touchdown. Renegades take the money line, like just bet them to win. And Birmingham, same thing, like bet them to win. And Jamar Smith anytime touchdown. He's probably that's what I do.
And I also do, Deion Kane. I think Deion Kane's going to get a touchdown for the Stallions. That's been our Week 10 predictions. Thank you very much for joining us. Week 9, Week 10 recap, review, preview show. This has been the number one hub for all things UFL as we continue to cover the UFL season. This has been Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. My name is David On Point Huppin. Right there, my co-host, Mr. G.J. Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, kind sir.
Yes, sir. And it's getting to be a little toasty out here in Fort Wayne. I'm kind of enjoying the weather. I got to go to work in a few hours, but yeah. And also a happy birthday shout out to my friend Chrissy. It's her birthday today. So hopefully she has a fantastic day, and hopefully you all have a fantastic Memorial Day. And thank you for everyone who has served or will serve, and this country and is responsible for the freedom that we enjoy here in this country. This has been Prime Sports World. You all have a good night. Stay safe out there. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, TJ.